Dr. Let me come to you. Civic education, political education. You work with indigenous people. Just speak around it.
I have a very strong feeling that we need civic education for our political leadership. We have done so much of it to our publics, and their actions are not at par. For example, with the GNZ, I was very impressed. Having worked with NGOs, you find an NGO spending 1 year trying to translate a document and disseminate. And GNZ, they did it overnight and in a very clear way. So I have a feeling, and I can maybe reinforce my thinking with an example. There was a time in Kenya when, under colonial leadership, when the leaders at that time, including Harry Duku, was arrested. And they were in Central Police Station. At that time, it was a different name. And a lot of people came in to protest, hundreds of people. But they were not acting. It was a passive resistance, sort of. So towards evening, one of the women there, her name was Modoni Nyanjiro, stood up and addressed the people, said to them, if the men cannot go in there and get Hariduku, can they give us the trousers? We'll put the trousers on and we will liberate our leader, because he was saying equal pay, equal work, equal pay at the unions at this particular time. What happened is that she was shot in the heart and killed on that material day. And since then, we've seen government using excessive powers. And I think I like the way you use colonial mentality, because it's a dehumanizing thing. For people to speak truth to power, it's very important for us to have civic spaces. Very important to let people speak and take this beyond civic education to action. We want to see this benefiting people. I'm very worried when we become a launching nation, launching a road, launching a hospital, and we do not go back to say, how did this transform lives? How do we enjoy the fruits of this? And that's where we need to go, so that civic education is not an end. It's a means to us realizing our full basic rights, fundamental freedoms, and not for some people, for all of us. So I urge that we even look at this issue of excessive use of force. When GNZ go to the streets, it's a peaceful protest, it's legal. And if it's not legal, in the event it was not, it's time to change the law to make it legal. But in this case, it is legal. And forced disappearances, reprisals, using fear tactics won't work. And I stand here saying we need to hold people to account individually and as a government, and maybe use all mechanisms possible to see that we do not lose any other life in Kenya, trying to call out the right things. So also parents, let's come out to support GNZ. They are saying the right thing. So this is a cause for the nation, and I think proper trajectory. I call for the state to really step down the excessive use of force.
Thank you very much, Daktari. In the same spirit, just taking the step higher in terms of civic freedoms, and also just civic rights, and also your right to protest. I think apart from the Gen Z, there is one other movement that has come in very strongly in Kenya in the last just 1 year, or let me say pretty much 2 years. There's been a lot of call specifically for an end to gender and sexual violence, specifically where, let me just use the word women, have been the bearers of the biggest brand on this side, So, Ivy, I'd want you to just wear, again, your feminist heart. There's been this movement heavily around femicide, We've seen the numbers have gone extremely high in the last couple of months and in the year. I just want you to speak around this movement generally. I know you're not the initiator, but you strongly believe around such movements, and from a feminist lens, combined with the Gen Z situation, where are we in terms of creation of movements championing for human rights, specifically for around femicide, SGBV, GBV, and all forms of just violations that women bear the brunt mostly? Just speak around this situation in totality or in a bit.
Wow, in totality, we don't have all day.
Yeah.
But I will try and, give a snapshot.
Yeah.
This is a really big issue. And the first thing that we need to acknowledge, even as we say it's a big issue, a lot of it goes unreported. So even the statistics that we have in terms of, 170 something people died, I don't remember which year, that's only a fraction of it. There are other cases that are not reported. And for me, the one thing that we need to get to is what is the root cause of why we have such a high number of killings and femicide, and even why are parents selling their children's naked pictures. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's there are a couple of cases in Kilifi, some that were even determined the other day. There are horrible things like, it's a sad day when LSK needs to have a continuous legal education for us to learn about child trafficking. So that we need to understand the nuances that are involved, that it has gone down to that level. So things are really dire. I believe once we get to the root cause, we might have, a better understanding. And the root causes could be, there's a lot of frustrations that are in our countries. There's a lot of beliefs about what is the power dynamics between women and men in their relationships. There's that issue of employment and underemployment. So people are engaging in, riskier behavior, and there are no protections in place. So even if you look at sex workers who have their own groups and who they are together, they are collectively working to make their work safer. They are the ones who are targeted quite a bit in the things that happened, I think, more last year. We have things that are in place. We have a gender commission. We have a human rights commission. We have very many NGOs that are working, on this issue. So then you come up and say, it's a national disaster, let's have a task force. For me, that was I just felt a bit sad, because why isn't the Gender Commission the one that is going around and spearheading that? Because their work is continuous. It's not a one-off. So I appreciate the people who came into this task force, some of them being experts, former legal judges and whatever. But why weren't they seconded to this body that is continuously going to do the work? Yeah, and the work is a lot. It's not just why is there violence. There's also the question of, are there shelters? People are staying, they haven't been murdered yet, so they are not part of those high statistics. But they are being battered every single day, and they are not leaving. And when they are not leaving, they are bringing up children in those environments where some people are learning battery is the way of life. So that child who's there will continue to be bashed because she thinks it is normal to be bashed. That boy who is there in that environment will continue to think bashing is, mom cried, but it's in the system. I have seen it happening all the time. So the next day she woke up with a black eye and she got us ready to go to school. So we have to start thinking about how are we going to deal with this monster that is gender-based violence? And how are we going to deal with it? Because it also is affecting boys and men. They are also being, violated. So it's a whole big crisis, and we don't like to talk about it. We don't like to talk about sex education. We don't like talking about power dynamics between the sexes. We cannot hide from it. Yeah. We need to invest in time, education, and leave alone money. We need to change our cultural beliefs and taboos and, some people wasipochapwa, hapa kuna mapenzi. Nonsense like that exists. So that sort of thing is something that we need to think.
Just quickly, as we ride on that wave, do you feel that the Constitution as is, with the provisions there, the very many acts that have been implemented or have come into place so far, do you still feel that there are specific remedies that could go into our bigger legal and policy framework? Because every other county is doing a gender policy. However, I don't know where the root cause exactly is. Perhaps, are there remedies that could be done or created mostly under our legal and policy framework, and then further into now our daily being, just human beings, human-centered things that we need to do? Yeah.
The first thing I would just give as an example, there are SGBV courts.
Yeah.
But as usual, everything is slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And apart from everything being slow, then the cases take longer. And of course, if it is an intimate partner or a family member, then, the steam, people start interfering. Before long, that case disappears, right? Yeah. So there are things about the legal process that exists that needs to be made faster so that justice is then actually not denied and it's actually given where there's no interruption. The intricacies of SGBV cases are very different from like a criminal matter that exists. Yeah. Those nuances, I don't think, are taken into consideration. There's also the issue of prejudice that some judges who live in our society and the judiciary, so they come from somewhere. I don't know if they have a lot of the education and capacity to understand how some of those nuances and their biases affect their judgments, right? So there are organizations who are doing work in terms of seeing how they can change judicial stereotypes, and especially against women, because now women, she gives her testimony and people are like, oh, but especially if she has a disability, it's even worse. She's not believed. She went to make up her own things, especially if she has a psychosocial disability. So there's a lot of discrimination that goes into some of these cases as one example. But there's need to actually sit down and say, what are first the number of laws and policies that are in place? How are they actually doing in the day-to-day? Which counties are doing really, really poorly? And how do we need to invest more in that? And invest would be have discussions with the people who are in those spaces of influence, religious leaders, elders, other, boys and girls, men. It's not an issue where you can just say it's only let the women fight it alone. It has to be a concerted fight with everybody engaged and everyone understanding where their role is in ensuring that there's a difference.
Thank you very much.
Steve,
please jump in.
I need to be on record.
Yeah.
I'm against femicide.
Yeah.
It's appalling. And I'm very concerned by the numbers. There is no magic number we are waiting to reach and say now it's too much. I think it's already
1 is already too
control.
much.
Yeah. And I think Kenyans, please, let's be concerned. Let's stand up. And because something was mentioned here about independent commissions by Ivy, I would like to particularly mention that these are institutional bodies. And they have constitutional mandate to implement. And we cannot have the type of leaders in Kenya, political leaders, who have so many advisors that they advise. It should be the other way around. they should take advice, right? And therefore, very concerning is that some of these constitutional bodies are there, they're operational, but the government in budget making process prioritizes a roof somewhere or buying tissue paper to operationalizing this commission. They have their recurrent expenditure budget, but they don't have operational budgets. How do you expect them to carry out their mandate? So I think we have to be a bit more serious on these issues, budget making, constitutionality, and please, we come together and end femicide. We don't even have to wait for the constitution. Some countries in the world don't have written documents as constitutions, and yet they have the humanity to know women and girls belong to these countries. Femicide has to end.
Yeah, as you just run with that point around the constitutional bodies, I think the persons who envisioned this constitution or the drafters at some point envisioned that their people or their bodies that would have to be more independent, away from the regular legislature or executive, and it envisioned by creating specific commissions, specific constitutional bodies. In this dispensation currently, as a part of the lived realities, do you feel these constitutional bodies, away from just a bit away from the budgetary issues that have limited them implementing their work, do you feel that they have pulled their weight, the independent constitutional bodies, in just ensuring several parts of the Constitution have been pushed forward, have been advanced, human rights have been protected and also advanced in many ways?
Steve.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that we need these commissions. Yeah. The independent commissions are necessary for sanity and for carrying out the mandate so that every Kenyan can enjoy being a Kenyan. As you said, a child does not have to go 20 kilometers to find a school.
Yeah.
And these commissions then can advise government on such issues so that then not only people in Nairobi. I saw today the Minister of Sports announcing that they are going to have open spaces for the Kenyans to watch the game tomorrow. And he listed 6 locations. All of them were in Nairobi. Oh. And in this spirit, they forget this nation has 47 counties. And all of us belong to this nation, need to be part of this process. So we need those commissions. And I think as much as we need them, the question, have they carried out their mandate properly? The ombudsman or the Commission on Administrative Justice, for example, holds to account civil servants who are not serving Kenyans properly. And they say, you are paid to do this job. Yeah. Be present in the office, carry out your mandate. And they're doing very well, in my view. Always people say there is room for improvement, right? But I have seen statements. I have seen the National Commission on Human Rights doing postmortems for families who could not afford it after summary executions. Yeah. They are doing a lot of hard work. But then what does government do with the advice or the opinion given to them by these independent commissions, so that then we don't have just papers. We have enjoyment of whatever they are working around. So it has to be the commissions, the government, and us again, as I said, Kenyans, so that then when they give their opinion, we take this and operationalize it so that everyone enjoys. Let's stand with one another. As we see in Kenya, we have a lot of people who are living below poverty lines. How do we stand up for one another? That everyone has a chance. Just because you are born in Kenya, Kenya has a good constitution, therefore you have a chance. How do we help one another and have this spirit? Steve.
Thank you, Dr.
Steve, I needed to weigh in on that.
Yes.
Briefly.
Yes.
I think I needed to add on to that. The CAJ, Commission on Administrative Justice. Yeah. I think the Act of Parliament, operationalizing the provision of constitution that formed the CAJ should give them prosecutorial powers, because we cannot have a toothless dog. They're just barking, just saying this year we recorded these administrative issues cases, this number of cases, and we submitted them to so and so. You see, if they can be independent, like EACC, which is independent but still acts like they're not independent, then it would be very great. But on the issue of femicide, which I'm totally against, and I'm looking at it from from this other angle of serial killers, I think our security apparatus should also be very serious. We cannot be investing over 150 million in NIS per year, all right? That's more than Rarieda constituency NGCDF budget for 1 year. Rarieda constituency has about 100,000 people. So something that should have, catered for about 100,000 people in that constituency, that budget is given to a certain body of a few employees, but then they're not able to just foretell what is happening in a certain community and get at some of these people who are doing. I mean, there are very bad things happening in Kenya. Like someone just waking up and killing people. All right? Someone just waking up and raping young girls, going to school. I was in Bungoma on Friday, and we were told of a border. It's not a border guy, but he operates a border. And he has his own stage. And he's the only border operator in that stage. And, he targets girls coming from school in the evening. And he tells them, wacha nikupeleke nyumbani. And then home is not home. He takes them wherever and he rapes them. 2 recorded cases this year. Raped and killed. And we have security operators in that area. We have chiefs being paid. We have police stations and police posts being paid. I mean, police officers being paid. But that thing is happening. And people in the community know.
And no one is doing it.
And no one is doing anything. Because whoever was giving us this information is a social actor in the community. And he was saying, I have tried. I have reached out to police here. They do nothing. So then why are we spending our taxes? And I'm saying this very intentionally. Why are we spending our taxes on paying people that cannot work to secure our safety? All right?
Yeah.
The parents, I know the children are not paying taxes, but their parents are paying taxes in one way or another. All right?
Yeah.
And yet, because we pay taxes so that the government can handle everything else, so as we focus on working and bringing more taxes, we are not free to work harder and bring more taxes because we fear our security is in danger.
Yeah.
You understand? We really need to get serious. The security apparatus must get serious. And these are some of the things we must speak about.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, let me speak for Gen Zs now.
Yes.
These are some of the frustrations we have. Even as we go to the protest. Someone may think we're just going to the protest because it's fun. Or because last year worked, so it will...
To take selfies.
No. As we move on, we get to what?
To take selfies. Somebody is saying iPhones and Uber and KFC.
There's all that.
Yeah.
But behind all that fun lies very frustrated young people who are facing these things every day. Because, I mean, come to think of it, when these people who are killed, see, they are our friends, they are our siblings, they are our parents, they are our children. We feel it, and it should not happen. So we have to get serious, and we have to call it what it is. We can invest in education, all that we want. We can, which is very important, because again, we must grow the family values, we must grow the community values, and we must, the society must remain as it should be. We must remain contact. But at the same time, there are these, they say kila soko iko na mwenda wazimu. There are these people that no matter the amount of education you do, all right, they will continue being that. Okay, boil green grams.
Yeah.
Kuna nini zingine za bakingi hard. Yeah, you may have boiled it for an hour or so. Everything else is soft. But then there's 2-3. Katikati ya chakula tu utasikia. Sasa unashindwa ni chapati iko na mawe ama ni nini. Kumbe there are those.
Yeah.
So we have those in these communities.
Yeah.
And we must be very realistic. Security apparatus must work to ensure that we have security and to ensure that our siblings, our children, our parents are not killed as we are witnessing. Yeah. As she said, there's so many other unreported cases.
Yeah.
You can imagine what is happening in places where people cannot get to. You can imagine what is happening along our borders, where there are no police officers, there's nothing. We only have people roaming around, and you don't know who is who. So it is saddening that people are dying, and it's saddening that those we've charged with the responsibility to take care of us are not doing that.
So remember the power dynamics that exist.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of that power dynamics of the police are in that space and they're the ones who are supposed to do things, they are not doing it. Then you have the victim shaming. Ulikuwa unavaa nini? Kwa nini unaenda kwa hiyo stage? Si unajua huyo mtu vile yako. Is that a solution to
It's not.
how we are dealing with these things?
Ivy, that's a good point. Because there are some people arguing that women are being raped and defiled because of how they are dressed or walking in the night. And I'm wondering, because we've seen cases of defilement of infants, is a diaper too short? Really? No, we have to address this. It's not how people are dressed. It's not where they are.
Yeah.
It should not happen.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It's a vice and should be nipped in the bud. I want us to finish this conversation. We have so many things we still need to speak about, but our time sometimes just slips by when a good conversation goes on. I just want us to perhaps just pivot on some of the things, or the newer tactic that we have seen happening in terms of just pushing specific duty bearers to do what they need to do. And then the Gen Z, as they say, or the young persons have come up with so many strategies. I remember last year, there's been this push for Salimia strategy. People were greeted heavily until some of their phones went
Still
off.
happening.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, you said it. Salimia is very effective. Yeah, where if someone is not doing what is supposed to be done, we remind them, and we gently and on a very personalized, space, like your WhatsApp or your message. So that is there. But another thing is exposés, where we currently young people from all across Kenya, anything wrong, they film it.
Yeah.
And you find it on X. And, the MCA or MP at that point will be like, Kwani, sasa, who came here and recorded this? All that. And now they start.
Citizen journalists.
You understand? Exactly. Citizen journalism. It's working. Because the moment that happens, someone feels exposed. If they are the administrators of that ward or constituency, they feel exposed, and they would want to do that before probably, now the mainstream media comes to expose the same. Yeah. I think that has also has worked pretty much. Another thing is bringing them to spaces where we have conversations and telling them as it is.
Yeah.
You understand? Someone is invited as a guest. You feel, wow, I'm going to have people to speak to, a very good audience, and then you get there and the audience tells you, you have not done this and that and that and that, and you feel embarrassed, and you would not want to get to another space next time until you have corrected what was said the previous time. So these are some of the strategies that we've come up with, and apart from Kusalimia, there's also just jamming calls. So call. So if you sit here, after every second there's a call coming in. And some of them complained of their lines being blocked or their phones crashing because of those calls. Yeah. So those are some of very effective ways of ensuring that duty bearers actually perform. Yeah. Someone would say that we are, what is it called? We are breaching their rights of their privacy and all that. Who determines that, though? Who determines that someone's right to privacy and all that?
And at the same
time, you will not know where it came from. Yeah, because you don't know the first person to post. At some point you may know. Yeah, but there's just so much you can do.
Yeah. Interesting strategies. I want us to take parting shots from this end of the room. So I'll go to Dr. Ari and then come to Ivy as you just part and finish up. Yeah.
Steve Biko.
Yeah.
In a very short time, we'll have elections in Kenya.
Yeah.
I call for open processes towards that election. I urge Kenyans not to have apathy, because this is a very strong tool that we have. Let's come out in numbers. Let's not listen to the division from certain quotas. Just come and see how we can build a better Kenya through that process. Let's participate in these elections. And I hope that it will be fair, open, and to count. So we want the votes to count, the election to count. And this nation is much greater. We have to leave it to future generations. Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Dr. Ivy.
I think we need to have a level of hope in our country. And it's hard to have hope in this day and age. But we must also applaud that hope is coming from some government officials who consistently, controller of budgets, Office of the Auditor General, those women have lost their hair. It has become grey. But they are consistently blowing the whistle. And they're doing their jobs. They're doing their work. So we need to have hope that there are people within government, there are people who are taking photos and sharing them in those platforms. I think a lot are Gen Z, so well done to them, because they work in those spaces. So they are actually taking those pictures and sending them. So I want people document. The last year before elections, let it inuke, let everything come out as is. Let us not hide, because we need, we have short memories, as we were told, even concentration. And it's not that I think Gen Z, it's Kenyans, I think generally. So we need to actually remind ourselves, why are these people in office? What did they not do properly, consistently? And let's vote wisely. It's one thing to come out, but if we vote for the same monkeys in the forest, we will just have the same problem. So we need to think through that. And we need also, if you see something being done that is wrong, this thing of just passing by, women are being stripped, someone is being attacked and robbed, people are passing by, not my business, not my business. We need to actually be more community-centered compared to where we are now. We're very individualistic. We need to change that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Joshua, any parting shots?
All right. Kenyans, and especially fellow young people, the old is gone, the new has come. We must focus ahead, and let's keep the fire burning. We are not going back to the dark days. We are creating a brighter and brighter Kenya every day. Get very conscious of what is happening in our society. And we have to also register ourselves as voters. Those who have not taken IDs, please take up IDs. Take up IDs. If there's any challenge, go through the service charter. There are dates given. There's a procedure, and there's a way through which you can get your ID. Get your ID. Should there be a challenge, reach out to any active young person you've seen, or reach out to anyone within your community or any organization within your community that can support you to get IDs. And once you've registered once you've gotten your ID, register as a voter, and let's wait for that time to change our country. Meanwhile, let's continue educating and let's continue liberating. God bless.
We've come to the end of this specific episode. Look out for more engaging conversations around the Hatua podcast, around the Constitution, 15 years since promulgation. Thank you.